What's up, guys? Matthew here to watch the third episode of the second season of The Last of Us. Obviously, last episode, heartbreaking. I thought that they did a pretty good job, adapting it. And just to refresh everyone, I am someone who has played the game. I will not mention any spoilers. I will not hint at anything. I will not do any of that. At the very end of the video, I will have maybe a 4 or 5 minute spoiler discussion, but I will blatantly let you guys know that that is going to happen. I absolutely guarantee you. But for the most part, I really enjoyed last episode. It felt hectic. It felt very sort of... I can imagine. I haven't really looked at any TV show only reactors, to be quite honest. But I can assume that they were absolutely shocked that it hit them that soon into a story, or even that it happened at all. So I'm very interested to see how they do this. Obviously, as I mentioned in the last two videos, the structure of The Last of Us Part 2 is very unique. So far, I've very much liked the changes that they've done, showing a lot more focus on Jackson. They've shrunk down Abby's crew, so we can maybe get some more character focus on them. I really do enjoy that. I do want to hop straight into it. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to yap a lot at the end, so I want to get into it. If you guys liked the video, please drop a like, leave a comment. It really helps me out. I've got the full-length reactions up on Patreon to the entirety of Season 2 so far. And if you enjoy my content, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. It really does help me out. Let's get into Season 2, Episode 3. The action last episode was so intense. What, we gonna see his body every goddamn 2 minutes? I've seen enough. Don't break my heart anymore. I don't know what Tommy's reaction would be so far. I don't know if he's gonna cry, lash out. Very stoic so far. No. At least they had those 5 years together. 5 extra years.
Are you in pain?
Yeah!
Can I give you something?
Don't touch me. Yeah, I'm in pain.
Ellie!
Ellie!
Going straight to the PTSD. This is gonna sound wild. Bella Ramsey, a great screamer. Oh, his name is gone, man. Only having the one fungi growth in the opening is very nice. 3 months later. That's a big change from the... Did I keep saying book? Yeah, I keep saying book. That's a big change from the game, and I don't know if I like that so far.
Look at that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Today's the day.
So can I just...
Almost. I just need you to see one more person, then you're good to go.
The therapist? Gail?
How are you doing?
Fine.
If you say it that fast, it kind of implies you're not.
Okay, ask me
So
again.
far, my only complaint with the season really is... I love Bella Ramsey, and I love Ellie. This Ellie feels a lot less mature than the game.
Got home, he was on the porch, and I should have talked to him. But I didn't.
Do you regret that?
Yeah, of course. But your final moment with someone doesn't define your whole time with them.
I gotta talk about that.
In my last moment with Joel, he said he wronged you.
My last moment with Joel, I said, I fucking hate you.
He saved me a lot of times.
Yeah, I would think so, but that's not wronging someone.
Yep, okay, that's cool. See you later.
It's weird. No idea what he meant.
Such a great liar.
Or as healthy as you. What would I do for weed and booze?
I wouldn't worry, Gail. There's still a lot of fucked up people in this town.
Yeah, but not you, though.
Burning heart. Feels very much akin to the game scene, which is viciously slow, yet obviously on purpose to make you think and feel and reminisce. Come on, I want the scene. I need the scene. There we go. That right there is probably the most heartbreaking from like a perspective of Ellie's grief. This scene was the one that probably hit me the most. In the beginning of the game, obviously. Jesus. Great lighting on those tears. Oh, that's heartbreaking. I think that's probably Ramsey's best acted scene.
I told you I didn't learn anything useful.
But why are you saying now? Because I'm healthy?
The doctors told me not to upset you.
I don't give a fuck.
And I knew that if I told you where they were, you'd just start pulling your tubes out and crawling on your hands and knees to get there.
I don't give a fuck. You cost us time. You let them get away.
First of all, this town was wreckage and funerals for weeks. Nobody was going to go after anyone. And then it occurred to me, if you want to find someone, and the only thing you know about them is where they're going to end up,
Doesn't matter when.
maybe let them get there.
I mean, we still gotta travel there. And it should be a long journey. I don't know if they're just gonna teleport there. I'll tell you what, I don't care how many people in my life died. I'll take them goddamn cookies any day of the week, you know what I'm saying?
The dark-haired guy was Manny. The other guy was Owen.
The girl with the dark hair and the bald one. One of them's named Nora. I'm not sure which.
The girl with the braid.
Abby.
Dum dum bum!
Where are they from?
I saw a patch on a backpack. Yellow triangle, wolf's head, and the letters WLF.
I forget if they
Then I
said
remembered
the
a story.
story.
Eugene told
Oh,
me from back when he
Jesus.
was a Firefly. He said that there were these small regional groups in the West all trying to fight Fedra, and how stupid it was that they didn't just join together. One of those groups was the Washington Liberation.
Okay, man, big on it. Eugene's the most major character this season. Everything's got to run through Eugene.
Fucking morons. Did he say how small they were?
No, but seeing as how no one's ever mentioned them since, I'm guessing small enough for us to handle.
Should be easy.
Who else knows?
Just us.
Tommy's got a bug under the table. Like, what's going on?
Well,
We roping
think
Tommy
about
into this?
think
Oh
about
my
what?
God.
Let's fucking get these guys.
Ellie, it ain't that simple. The town is still recovering. So are you.
We get where you're coming
No,
from.
we don't
but-
get where you're coming from. I don't get where you're coming from. If it had been you, Joel would be halfway to Seattle before the sun came up.
He'd be halfway to Seattle to save my life. But when we lost people, no. It would just break him like it was his fault. I saw that time and time again, and don't talk to me like I didn't know him.
I know him considerably better than you.
If we're gonna put a posse together, we gotta do it right. Which means taking it to Maria. Yes, it's fucking necessary. She's gonna want a council meeting, open it up to the town. Everyone who wants to get heard gets heard.
We'll bring a militia.
And you hold out information on me again, you got rendering detail for a month.
That is a shitty cut. Raiders, I will say.
Ellie. Buried our dead 10 miles south of town. If you want to visit them.
10 miles south of town, outside of the walls? Hello? Oh, wow. Are we going to continuously follow Abby?
See truths hidden from others and share that truth no matter what the cost. So it was with our prophet. And that's how we keep her spirit alive. Follow her word.
It ain't a zombie apocalypse piece of media without some religious zealots.
Tell me, you feel safer?
Yes.
Good. Understand what we're giving you now. Keep you far, far safer than a hammer.
I'm afraid we're about to get ambushed.
From home.
From war.
What are they, like, traveling war raiders? Like, traveling from city to city?
A few more weeks and you'll be right back to where you were before.
Nice.
Which is 80% of where you should have been.
Whatever, fuck you.
Why are you roasting me? We gonna have a heart-to-heart here, or are you just gonna roast me?
Heard you're on the council now.
A lot of empty spots.
So you know about the meeting coming up.
I know about the meeting coming up.
Can I count on you?
Can't discuss upcoming votes.
Mini political arc. Come on.
An open meeting, the bylaws say that
Maybe we should stick to what everyone else came here to discuss.
I don't really have an opinion on the Seattle thing.
I didn't lose anyone. I'm trying to make people survive here. You've made your presence
I
known.
said that Joel meant so much to so many of us. But he wasn't the only one. I lost my sister that day. A lot of people in here buried family. And now you want to send what? You're saying 16 of our best? Well, while they're gone, who's going to be on the wall if raiders come?
They don't even know that Abby caused the whole raid with the infected too.
Next is Carlisle.
You gonna defend? You gonna make up for your past wrongdoings?
I've always seen the wisdom in that. That's what separates us from the raiders and the murderers. Our capacity for mercy.
Those sons of bitches don't deserve our mercy.
Well, of course they don't deserve it. That's what makes it mercy.
Well, to hell with that.
I like the mindset, but
Hell with you for saying it, Carlisle.
Seth, sit down.
No.
You're not on the list.
No!
I'm making my presence known.
Boo-hoo, it's not fair. What, we gotta forgive everybody when they show up and piss in our eye? They came into our house. They took one of ours. My God, somebody shoots your brother. You want to take the locks off your doors? Grow up! Idiots. They'll come back. They'll come back because we didn't make them pay. And when they come back, they'll be laughing. And you'll all deserve it. Bunch of goddamn victims.
Obviously rough around the edges, but trying to remember. Dina was awake when Abby started monologuing. There could be fear of the people for them coming back.
I normally don't write things down because I normally don't think before I talk, which has gotten me in trouble before. A lot. And it's cost me in ways that sometimes couldn't be undone.
Very on the nose.
I can't afford that right now because I know what I'm asking is a lot. I'm asking us to risk more people and resources and at the worst possible time. And I want everyone to know. It's not because I want revenge. It's not. It's not about revenge.
Totally. Yeah, we're getting resources
to give people. I want justice. Because it's either that or we do nothing. That's what everyone else out there is going to do for us. Nothing. A whole world of
I could imagine if you're
who
living in
won't
this
lift a
community,
finger
you would want
if
people to
something bad happens to me or you.
give justice for something that had been done to you, but at the same time, don't want to waste resources.
And I want to know that I can count on you. And I swear, if someone hurts any of you or the people you love, you can count on me. That's what holds all this together. Not potluck dinners or New Year's Eve dances.
It's actually a pretty good speech. I don't know if it's gonna get through to him.
No. No. No.
They know with the cause. They're not rocking with the cause.
Proposal is rejected.
Well, sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands. You know, I find it very interesting that they're showcasing the in-depth nature of how perfect and how amazing this community is. It almost doesn't feel like Joel's decision stopped the world from getting better.
I'm supposed to see a shrink myself, you know, to process it all.
Aw.
I'm the only one here.
So what do you do then?
Oh, well, I'm an alcoholic, and I smoke as much weed as I can.
Sounds like the life.
I'm nervous she's gonna do something stupid.
What, you didn't believe her speech?
Did you?
Of course not. She's a liar.
Well, there's a difference between
She's
lying
not
and
a
being
good
liar.
actor.
Oh, I know. And that one? Liar. It was maybe one person she told the truth to, and he's...
Kablammy.
Turns out nurture can only do this much. The rest is nature. If she's on a path, it's not one that Joel put her on. No, I think they were walking side by side from the very start. Some people just can't be saved.
Go to Seattle and kill Abby.
What route?
Northwest?
And is that all guns, or do you have medical supplies in there?
Nah. Food, nah. We're going straight bullets.
Stay off the highways, stay clear of cities or settlements. First stage is through the National Forest. Once we're out, we'll follow the Snake River Canyon, then break off through the Snoqualmie Pass.
Snoqualmie?
Yeah, Snoqualmie. Approach Seattle from the east, then reassess based on what we find.
Very upbeat from Dana. I would assume at some point we're going to get it deeper.
First aid kits, batteries, bear spray. Now, handguns.
And is she not Jewish? In
Is that Joel's?
the show?
That's what you're good at killing.
Fucking right.
And save it for that. Slow and kicks like hell. Really? Shoot your damn ass off?
Get some holsters, man.
Or?
Well, one at least 100 shells apiece, plus 50 rifle rounds.
Jeez.
Chlorine tablets, a pan, and something to keep Shimmer dry.
Just Shimmer?
Yeah, we share a horse. Fewer resources. Everything else is what you'd figure, except this. Boots.
No!
Consistency, but you're not crossing open country in fucking chucks.
I've done it before.
No chucks. Questions.
Yeah, one. How the fuck are we gonna get all of this?
I got connects.
Yeah, you could have just asked.
No, I actually didn't know that.
It's something you shouldn't really ask, but it's fine. Look like a bear. I was like, what are we doing? What are you talking about?
Trade.
Much better than a sandwich, I'll tell you what. Although it is kind of wild to send a little girl out to seek vengeance.
Janine's night watch at the stables. She's sympathetic to our cause.
Cause?
Our cause?
Cause? What do
You're
we?
the one who
What do
gave
we
me
got?
us,
Cults?
Not me. Saddlebags are filled with stuff I...
Have some political warfare in Jackson? I like that. I like they changed. Get a little more to Seth, but I'm gonna have a decent conversation at the end about changes from the game. Overcoming homophobia. And she got the LGBTQ jacket going on? Wow, so that's some growth, my man. I'm proud of you. That seems like a very noticeable weak point in our whole community. Jeez. Took us 10 miles? We only did 10 miles in like 4 hours? That gave me goosebumps. Some intense goosebumps. And obviously the music is carrying. Such a beautiful shot. Really is. So I keep mentioning like comparing it to video games and stuff like it, but this feels like Red Dead. And it like I noticed for those of you who have only played the or have only watched the show, this music in the background, like I don't know if you guys like can have experienced something like this. I know you guys have probably like watched adaptations of favorite books or anything like that. Wow, that is beautiful. Hearing the same exact music that was used in you know in scenes I watched 5 years ago in The Last of Us Part 2 when I was playing it, like it hits you in the feels immediately.
Fleetwood Mac. Nope.
Hey, Fleetwood Mac.
Seriously gonna make me do the entire alphabet.
I don't have to. I'm incredibly flexible.
Nah.
Or silence.
Got one. First person you kill.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, fun stories of childhood.
I was gonna say, such happy memories.
It was a little before Joel and I got
First one, my
Jackson
girlfriend.
in Kansas City. He got jumped by this kid, maybe just a couple years older than me. And I came up behind him, raised my gun, and yeah.
That's it.
Let me know if you see any outcroppings or spots with cover.
Why? Looks okay.
It looks kind of, I don't know. It looks kind of peaceful, I guess. Never mind. Stop looming over me like that. You're scaring me. What is this? A Severance episode, season 2, episode 4? That's what I'm expecting.
It's about New Year's Eve and, you know, the kid.
The kids. My father died.
I mean, whatever, you were super high.
And you were drunk.
Right, so it doesn't mean anything, if that's what you're asking.
No, I know that. My question is...
Was it good, though? How was it?
You've kissed girls before. You're gay, I'm not. I'm just curious. Want to know if I'm any good at it. 1 to 10.
I don't know, I don't remember. Let's do it again. Who said that? That was weird.
6.
That's not bad. That sucks.
For the record, I don't believe you.
Well, you asked, and I told you. I'm sorry. You can go back to Jesse.
I already did.
How much further?
Are we going to find any evidence? Or are we going to be attacked? Jeez, man. Sucks to suck. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you, little guy. Man, I see this. I'm getting off the road.
Dina.
She got kidnapped. Child back there?
You okay?
This is just...
Did you direct her to a dead child? Let's hope it's other people just strung up. Squad wipe. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Oh, that's horrible. Remind you of anything? Why she look like a white from Game of Thrones? HBO using the same makeup people.
If this was fucking them, if Abby and her crew did this to people, to kids,
Horrible people, aren't they? Oh, wow. Dude, like, it's stuff like this. Like, obviously, this aspect is harder than, like, a singular building, because we're in the wilderness. You can't copy the exact wilderness layout of a video game, but, like, I vividly remember playing through the game for the first time and getting to, you know what I mean, going through the woods, hitting the highway, and it was so amazing. The reason The Last of Us series is one of my favorite games is because of just the format of the game. Not only is the story, you know, pretty good, you know, for most parts of it, but the exploration part, the, like, going for resources and, you know, tracking your bullets and all that, I love that gameplay cycle.
9 more.
Ellie and Bella Ramsey, like most of the time, look confused, and Merced, I think her name is, as Dina, always looks like she's posing for a picture for some reason.
Fucking Seattle.
Look at that! That's beautiful.
Guess there aren't that many wolves.
There's about to be a whole lot less.
The population. We're about to hunt down a species. Oh my god. Dude, we gotta jump! There's an axe in the fire truck or something. We gotta swing on the hose. Oh, look at that needle, man.
We're moving up to the fob. All clear between checkpoint 3 and 5.
Told me to watch 6 and 8. I want fucking 3 and 5.
About to get spotted immediately? Oh yeah, 2. Only 2. We can take out 2. 2's not that many. 3, we can handle 3. 3 is not that many. We could get that in like a day, maybe. It's not looking good. Why are they walking like zombies? What is this? The season 2 finale of Game of Thrones? Well, that was the 3rd episode of the 2nd season of The Last of Us. I thought that was a good episode. I can safely say that was probably my least favorite of the season so far. But I really do have to say, other than the, again, I'll focus on all the little points of the season, and then obviously I'll repeat again at the end. At the end of the video, I'm going to go into a spoiler discussion. I'm going to make it very evidently clear that I'm going to go into a spoiler discussion, so there's no fear of being spoiled right now. The first couple scenes were weird, but I liked Bella Ramsey, especially in Joel's house. I thought those scenes were very striking, gave me goosebumps. And again, I know I spoke about it in the middle of the episode. The music. I got goosebumps thinking about the music. I got goosebumps of me thinking about the fact that I got goosebumps thinking about the game's music. It really adds so much. I know if you've watched stuff like Lost is my favorite live action show of all time. That music is just so iconic that it immediately brings you into the world. Same with something like Attack on Titan or Death Note or Code Geass or something like that. Like, something about instrumental music, it does something to me. And it's not only that, like the actual, like the regular, like real life music, and I really liked that. I like seeing Ellie and Dina get to know one each other a little more. Again, it's a little different than the games in the sense of you kind of get the vibe that they are already pretty much, together. Whereas this feels like more of an exploration of that, or that first step, and I actually prefer that. One of my complaints about the games was again, I don't want to get into specifics, but I'll simplify it. I like this idea of them getting to know or starting something more than jumping in the middle of something, if that makes any sense. The 3-month time skip is a little much. It's a lot. That's a lot for her to be in the hospital. Almost feels like I don't know, like an anime, you know what I mean, where they randomly say, oh, the main character was out for 2 months, just so we can skip a little bit of time. That was kind of off. But, this episode, I don't exactly know how to feel about it, because I feel like 70% of it was made up for the show. And I don't think anything was horrendously bad. It's just, again, my problem with the first season was, it's the same problem. You fix it in 2 ways. Either it was too short, there should have been more episodes, or there should have been 2 seasons. Because I feel like they kept adding more and more and more show-only stuff, and then they didn't even, correctly focus on the game's stuff. They didn't hit all those notes. And I kind of got the vibe from this episode. The first 2 episodes, I didn't have that problem at all. The first 2 episodes, I loved in terms of, like, yeah, they added some stuff. They added a lot of stuff, but I feel like most of it was pretty good. This episode, a little iffy on it. I'll obviously get more into specifics in a couple moments when I get to my spoiler discussion. But I thought it was an okay episode. It was a very beautiful, very visually stunning episode. I'm wondering about, those I gotta be vague with my stuff here. Those people with the symbols and stuff like that. I don't know if we're going to get a focus on them. I don't know what's going on with them. These wolves feel very armed. Obviously we have 2 teenage girls here to handle it. I wonder how that is going to fly. I also wonder if we're going to get like we're gonna jump back to Jackson or anything like that. I would be very intrigued to find that out. Because again, it's one of the things. I'm not going to talk about positive or negative, but the show tends to focus on a lot more of the side characters and give them actual, like, a lot of focus. So I wonder how that sort of, affects the distribution of screen time here. Are we going to, jump to Maria and Tommy and Jesse in Jackson, or what's going to happen with that? I do not know, but I'm very intrigued, like I said, to find out about it. I loved the watch and the gun in the box scene. That obviously ripped straight from the game, and I really liked that. And I said it in my reaction, but the smelling of that jacket is probably the thing that, like, emotionally hits me in the beginning of the game the most. Like, it really, like, it visualizes the fact that he's just gone like that, and it is heartbreaking. It really is. And like I said, show Ellie is very much less mature, if that makes any sense. Still seems very, like, teenage angsty, break the rules because I can kind of vibe from Ellie. And I don't necessarily know if I like that, but again, I want to repeat, Bella Ramsey and their acting in that, in the scene with Joel's house. I thought that was fantastic. I really did. So I give props where props are due. When I see something that's worth praising, I'm gonna praise it. Other than that, like I said, I'm excited. I don't know. Again, the format of this, obviously, we had I wouldn't say, well, I was gonna say strong, maybe a little less than strong, but we had a huge amount of focus on Abby and Co. in the first 2 episodes. Obviously, mainly Ellie and Joel. But I'm wondering to see if we're going to pop into those, if we're going to check up on those people, or are they going to be recurring members of the cast? I don't know how, again, the format or the distribution of the characters is going to be this season. So I would be very interested to find that out. But I think that's going to be it for my discussion about this episode. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff to talk about game change wise, so I do want to hop straight into that. Again, I will repeat, I'm going to mention some spoilers. I'm going to talk about the game. I'm going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2. So if you don't want to get spoiled on the rest of Season 2 or Season 3, please do not watch anymore. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment. I get the phone correction up on Patreon, all that good stuff. But I am now going to be discussing some spoilers. First things first, I gotta be honest, a lot of changes. And again, I'll repeat it, and I'm going to say it every reaction probably. I like The Last of Us Part 2. It's probably the game that I've replayed the most gameplay-wise, but story-wise, it's iffy in a lot of parts for me. A lot of iffy characters that I don't really connect with, if that makes any sense. So I'm not saying like I'm the biggest fanboy of it, but I saw a lot of changes that I don't necessarily know if I like them so much. And the first thing, and I mentioned in my discussion a minute ago, but I can go a little more in depth in here. My main problem with the first season was the fact that they focused on so many of the other side characters, giving them like show only backstories, and you know what I mean, like I forget the name of the woman that was the leader of the Kansas City area, but like that Kathleen, that stuff, again, the Bill and Frank stuff was one of the best episodes of TV of that year. But in terms of the story as a whole, it didn't do as much as it should have for the progression of the story. I felt Joel and Ellie's relationship was very undermanned, if that makes any sense. And I kind of feel like I didn't get the vibe the first 2 episodes. This episode, I got that vibe that they're doing it again. This obsession with Eugene, again, I have to feel like it's going to build up to a whole flashback episode where Pantoliano, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Ralphie from The Sopranos, that's what I know him as. I do wonder if we're going to get a whole episode that is focused on that. Again, I'm sure it would be a great episode of TV, but dude, this season is only 7 episodes. We're almost halfway done the season. That's a little wild. You know what I mean? And again, the stuff with Gale, I like the stuff with Gale. I think it amounts to some good scenes, but at the same time, it's, you know what I mean? Like we can get more Dina. Let's get more Dina. Let's get more Ellie. Let's get more Tommy. Or like, no, it's all Gale. Again, I want to repeat. I like her scenes. I like her significantly more with Joel than I do with the others. Because again, I really did not like, probably the first scene of the season and the only scene of the season that I can say I didn't like was that the Gale and Ellie stuff in the beginning. Again, not that it doesn't fit her character, it's just the show makes Ellie feel much more immature so far. And I don't like that. I really don't like that. Especially because there's no change between the first and second game. And, people have unfairly been, yapping about Bella Ramsey, which has really gotten on my nerves even more since the season has begun. They do look young. And again, I will agree with that. That is a problem. They look too young. And they don't change their appearance at all. And I'm not saying that that's their fault. I'm saying that that's just how it is. When you have a TV show, you're not going to wait 7 years in between seasons. You're going to film when you film. So the physical lack of change is a little disheartening, but that's uncontrollable. What is controllable is the attitude, and it feels like Ellie is the same exact person. And even then, like, again, when you lose someone close to you, you're not sullen for, every single moment of every single second of every single day. But it felt very much like we're back to happy times. We're back to flirting. So, again, I will repeat, I like the change of, it feels like Adina and Ellie are a lot less close. than they were romantically. They've been friends for a while, but romantically in the game, it felt like they immediately were like long-time lovers. Whereas, in this, it feels much more realistic in the sense of it hasn't even begun yet. So that was one of my things in the game. I was like, Dina and Jesse have been on and off for a while, and you could say that Dina and Ellie have been longing for each other for a little bit, but even then, it felt like they had one kiss at the dance, and then they were a married couple of 10 years, and they were inseparable, which is a little fast for me. But what do I know? But yeah, I don't know. With the Gale stuff, I want to repeat. Other than the Ellie thing, I like the Gale and Tommy stuff. Loved it. Thought it was amazing. But we don't need it. We can focus on other stuff, and especially getting that Seraphite scene. That was really pointless. Especially because we just arrived. That's something that I want to say, that it was a big problem last season. The story didn't follow Joel and Ellie. It felt like Joel and Ellie were following the story. We would, get a random flash show to a city. You know what I mean? And then Joel and Ellie would show up. We wouldn't be experiencing it with them. We would experience it by ourselves, and then Joel and Ellie would show up. It feels like it's the same exact thing. Like, I don't need to see the Seraphites, especially because the next episode, episode 4, from the the pacing of this, is going to be Dina and Ellie entering Seattle. So you don't need to already pre-show me the Seraphites. So I really didn't like that aspect. I really didn't, and it's also one of those things. You save it for Lev and Yara. When we get Lev and Yara, I would assume next season. That's when we can really showcase some of conversations between Seraphites and stuff like that. We don't need it now. There's already so much stuff to juggle that I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I do not know. It's another thing. Just real quick, bouncing back to the Ellie and Dina stuff, and I repeat how Ellie kind of feels a little more immature than she should. I'm gonna be honest, like, they have really good chemistry, but at times it feels like Dina is a mother in the relationship. Like, I guess she's not mature, but she's so much more mature than Ellie at points. It's a little wild. So I don't know about that. Yeah, this was a weird episode. This was a weird episode, for real. Like, I don't know. It felt... I don't even know how to describe it. Something felt off about it. It really felt like there was no game stuff in there. And that's another thing, too, that I want to mention. That, scene with the voting and stuff like that, like... I feel like, and it's something that, a little too much... Again, I want to repeat... I love when you show some stuff more in depth than it's shown in the game, but you can't go too overboard, because then you risk the prospect of not showcasing stuff from the game. You know what I mean? The first episode, I really liked seeing more of Jackson and seeing more of its culture and seeing more of its people. I really liked that. But then it just kind of felt like you did the exact same thing for the third, you know what I mean, with this vote and this weird time skip, which time skip is a problem. Like, also, it's one of my biggest pet peeves in media, when they just go, well, we don't really want the story to progress immediately. Let's just have the main character in the hospital for a couple months. What do you mean a couple months? Nothing happened to her. She got a couple kicks. She got kicked a couple times. And she's in the hospital for 3 months? Not just physically. I understand the mental aspect, but it wasn't like she was, you know what I mean? That was, I didn't like that at all. But the voting stuff, like, I don't want to say it like I'm impatient or anything like that, but, like, I don't want to say, well, get to it, because I don't mean it like that. But just, I don't know. I do. Again, the format of this is very weird, and we have a lot less of Abby's group to track down, which is a good thing. I want to repeat, it's a good thing, but it also, again, there's less. So, and I would assume since we showed Manny would be the first one, but Manny has an iconic death, and you know what I mean? So, and I want to talk about Tommy and Jesse too in a minute, specifically Tommy. Where do, like, that all that time we spent on the Jackson side, like, I want to spend that on Ellie and Dina. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I do not know. Getting to the Tommy stuff, I'm gonna be honest, it's another thing that I thought that was a really big misstep. In the sense of, from the vibe I'm getting, and then I could be absolutely wrong or proven wrong or whatever, but it almost feels like Tommy's going to Seattle is going to be, if it even does happen, if they could change that. I hope they don't, but it almost feels like Tommy going to Seattle is just going to be a way to sort of protect Ellie. You know what I mean? Just sort of, it's what Joel would want, or something like that. Whereas in the game, I'm sorry, did I say Joel? I'm sorry, Tommy. I don't know if I'm messing up these names. Whereas Tommy, in the game, first of all, he's a demon. Okay, he's a menace. But also, it's his own, he's the one who leaves first. Because he wants to leave and try to convince convince Ellie that she doesn't have to go, I'm going to handle it. So that's gone. You know what I mean? That's immediately gone. You're stripping him of sort of some of his agency, if that makes sense. Now it just seems like he's going to go, we got to go get Ellie, or this, or that, whereas he felt, consumed by rage. It's funny. And again, I'm okay with you changing certain characters. They changed Joel a lot in the first season, and I liked this rendition of Joel. It was different from the game, but it, you know what I mean, it was different at the end of the day. But in the game, Tommy is consumed by vengeance. Like his ending is a very dark, very decrepit one. It's you know what I mean. He is absolutely consumed. Now he's talking about, I don't want Ellie to end up that way. Again, I'm not saying that I have a lot of problems with that. I'm just saying that's a huge change right there. And again, I want to repeat, it does make Tommy lose some of his urgency to go to Seattle. I will say. And I would assume that Tommy and Jesse are going to, be sent to go, or well, Jesse. Oh, it's interesting. I'm very interested in. It's obviously the pregnancy thing too. She is still pregnant because she did bounce back to Jesse in the 3 months while her crush was in the hospital. Power to you, I guess so. Do what you want. I don't know. But I kind of want it to be. Kind of want Jesse to know about the pregnancy, so that he can have a reason to, what I mean? Oh, I gotta save my baby. I gotta save Dina. He'll have that mindset no matter what, but it would be interesting to find out. So, but again, I would assume it was Jesse and Tommy that are going to, again, I don't know if they're going to show that, like bounce to Jackson and go, hey, we got to go follow them, or they're going to pop up and save the day, or we're going to hear about some vengeful sniper ghost in the background as Ellie and Abby do their stuff. But I'd be very interested to find that out. What did I want to say? I forgot. Man, I forgot one thing I wanted to say. Maybe was it Jesse related? Jesse, Tommy, Jesse. I don't remember. That's the problem when you have a rambly, yappity mindset, as I do. But again, I don't think it was bad TV or anything like that. I enjoyed watching the episode. I wasn't bored or anything like that. But a lot of changes from the game this episode. And I wonder where they're going to pivot or go from there, because again, a complicated story. Oh, that's something I almost forgot. The final thing, that's what it was. The final thing I do want to talk about. The porch scene is interesting. Obviously Ellie was just lying. You know what I mean? Lying to, I would assume was lying to Gale. But again, looking at it logistically, you know what I mean? Ellie did 100% have the conversation with Joel. It's probably the most iconic scene of the video game. That's not going to be deleted. And especially if it did get deleted, it wouldn't be teased. It wouldn't be teased in the first episode like, hey, you think this is going to happen? It's like, we're ripping away from you. No, it's going to happen. I do find it interesting how in the lie, in Ellie lying to Gale to get out, she mentioned not being able to have that conversation with Joel. If I'm a therapist, that would perk me up more than, I actually had a great conversation with him when he died. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. And it's also got me wondering, too, with this inclusion of Gale, I wonder if, the ending of Season 3 is going to have some scene with Ellie rejoining, Jackson and having a conversation with Gale. I guess so. I guess so. Other than that, again, we obviously no Abby, no nothing like that. Just got a little Manny shot. Manny, the final thing, I guess I'll end it with Manny. Manny in the first episode felt very much closer to Jordan. Not only just like getting the punch and the scratch thing or whatever from that, but I just mean like personality-wise, he felt more. I don't know. Manny's one of those characters where in you know, in the beginning of the game, he looks like a demon. He looks like a devil. And then in the second part of the game, to make you like him, hey Abs, hey Abs, hey Abs, like, it kind of, they make him look like a dickhead so far on the show too. So I don't know if they're gonna go back on that or what's going on there, but I don't know. It's another thing too. Like, just looking at all the stuff that they're doing with these characters, like, are they going to have an Abby Owen relationship? Like, because they didn't. From the looks, I don't recall them even mentioning that or hinting towards that in the first couple episodes. Just kind of felt like they were friends, but I don't know. I do not know. If you guys have anything you want to talk about spoiler-wise in the comments, you can drop it, as long as you just give a spoiler warning. I'd love to talk to you guys about your opinions of the show so far, or even the game. If you want to get into a game conversation, I would be open to talk about it. If you guys like the video, please drop a like and leave a comment. It really helps me out. I've got the full-length reaction up on Patreon, and if you enjoy the content that I make for the channel, I would really appreciate if you subscribe. I will see you guys next week for the 4th episode. Next week, we are going to be over halfway done in the season, which is crazy. These seasons are considerably too short for my liking, but what are you going to do? You guys have a good one.